Hey everyone, today we are taking a look at Source of Mutation in Adventure Mode from a DPS and healer point of view, along with the mechs for the ball flipping. And I wanted to thank Drozes for doing the animation here so that we can see how to properly flip the orbs. Okay, at the start of the raid, we're going to flip the first orb and then the second orb, and you can see where the boss is positioned in relation to the orbs. And then you're going to go inside of the circle and wait for the noise pollution mechanic. Noise pollution will kill anyone who is outside of the green circle, so it's important to wait inside the green circle for noise pollution to complete. Afterwards, we are going to use Flash to flip the next 3 orbs. Then we are going to wait for the big cast to use the final orb as the interrupt. After that, you're going to flip every other orb so that you don't end up getting yellow AoE puddles that appear. So here we're going to go ahead and flip 1, then skip a purple, and then go to the next, and that. And there you are done. And this is done every 20% of the boss's health, so in between every one of the major mechs. Okay, we're going to start off the raid by flipping the balls. Now, we're using multiple ball flippers instead of just one, and we do it in a slightly different pattern sometimes. But you can see here, there's noise pollution at the top. Everybody needs to be inside the circle for that. Then we're going to continue to DPS. You can see kind of the little explosions going off as each ball is flipped. There is an AoE to the raid, so make sure that healers heal in between each ball flip. Now we're going to see a casting for the boss. Make sure to flip that last green orb in the background as an interrupt. Afterwards, we're going to flip every other orb. So you can see BossJohnson going out now to flip the first orb. And then we're going to skip an orb and someone else will go out and flip the next one. And again, we're going to use heals in between each, and then the ball across from us should be flipped last. I will talk about these red tornadoes in just a minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at the message here. And you can see that's when the final orb should be flipped to avoid the next mechanic, which is a series of yellow circles that'll appear on the floor around everyone. Now, we're not going to show that here because we flipped every other orb, and now we can continue to DPS until the boss hits 80%. Make sure to stay inside the green circle because there is another round of noise pollution here. After that, continue to DPS until the boss is at 80% for the phase change. Now here we're going to have purple and green puddles around the outside of the room. 4 people need to be in each puddle. Because BossJohnson has a purple buff here, he went into the purple puddle. Now you only need 4 people for the purple puddle. Next, you're going to have 4 people go into the green puddle in the background. Afterwards, there is a counter. Do not go into the next puddle until that counter drops off. Now it is gone, so the next group of purple can go into the purple puddle, and then the counter comes back. And then we have 1 more green puddle. Now, you need to pop all of these before the boss finishes casting, which the casting bar is under his name. Once that casting bar is done, he will do a little jump, and then the DPS and healers all need to be inside, and you can continue to do DPS on the boss. Afterwards, there'll be a round of the balls again. So if you're not on the mech team, the healers and DPS just move inside. Now he is done casting. Do not hit him yet because he's still doing 1 damage. Wait for him to jump. There he goes. And now you can go ahead and start doing your DPS. At this point, you can see the ball flippers are going to start flipping the balls again and go around you. And healers, make sure to use big heals for each of the ball flips so that you don't end up causing too much damage to the raid. Again, boss is going to move out. Regular, if you're not a ball flipper, which we usually have either 1 to 3 ball flippers, usually more for adventure mode. Now here you can see the casting bar where he needed to be interrupted, which is the last ball flip. Now they're going to do every other ball flips. Now we talked before about the red tornadoes, and I said I'd get to those in a minute. This is something that everybody needs to help with. So they're going to be these red tornadoes coming in towards the tree. If the red tornado hits the tree, the health of the tree drops drastically. So one person will grab a tornado, and which point you will get a little tornado buff on you. Do not grab any more than one tornado, just one. So we found that if you grab 3 tornadoes, it can wipe the whole raid. So only grab one, and just each person go ahead and block or tornado. We have everybody move in towards the center once they've blocked a tornado, so that you don't have to worry about hitting multiple ones. Okay, let's take a moment to talk about how our raid is set up. The top 3 people are our ball flippers, and they go to the center during this phase. Up next, each column except the top 3 will go to each of the markers with their number on it. For example, Diablos is in column number 5, so he would go to the marker labeled number 5. One person will have a greenish buff on them. They will go to the center to start the seed process, and the person on the end here will move to their location in this raid frame. So if Diablos had the starting seed, the person on the end would go to marker number 5. When the health of the tree hits 100% and you're at 80% for the boss's life, you will have one person with the seed on them. You can see him in the center with the green text above his head. He meets our 3 ball flippers in the center, at which point our ball flippers will move out to markers number 1, 2, and 3. He will share the seed with the 3 people at the marker, at which point, once they get the seeds, they will move to the left to share the seeds with the next group next to them. The exception to this is one person on the number 1 marker will move over to the tanks to share with them. Now, everyone should have the seeds in order to not die when the boss completes his attack. DPS also needs to kill the ad in the center during that phase, or the tree will not respawn. Now, we have the ball flipping stage again, where we're going to move out and flip the balls, move in during noise pollution, and continue to flip the balls until the interrupt phase. All DPS and heals, please stand inside the circle and just go ahead and DPS the boss until this is done. Now, if you are a tank, please check my tank video. I'll go ahead and link it in the description. It's very important to tank this raid correctly. The tree health is dependent on the tanks, and if you are not controlling that tree health correctly, you will wipe the raid. So tanks, it's very important to make sure you know what you're doing during this phase also. Now we are continuing to flip the balls in the background while we DPS, and here is the tornado phase. Again, everybody has to help with this, even the tanks help with the tornadoes. Block each of the tornadoes coming in towards the tree. If you stay inside, you will not get hit with the other tornadoes going around. Make sure to block the tornado. You can see the tornado debuff on BossJohnson. Make sure you do not block any other tornadoes if you have that debuff on you. Only block 1 tornado per phase. Now here we've got noise pollution again. You can see it at the top. You want to be inside the circle during the noise pollution. And then we're going to go ahead and do these puddles again. You can see on the raid frame how you can see the purple buff and the green buff on people. So usually the raid leader will call out what 4 people are going to be going into the puddle next. Again, boss had purple, so he was in the purple puddle first. And they went, and you're just going to go ahead around the room and pop the puddles. Now, there are more purple and green puddles this phase than there were the previous ones, so you have to move quickly, or you will not end up popping them all before the casting bar under the boss's name is complete. This phase happens at 80% of the boss's health and 40% of the boss's health. If you go into more than 1 puddle, you will die. And if you take the wrong color puddle, you will also die. So sometimes if we are out of players, if some are dead, we might call for somebody to go in and sacrifice himself to clear the puddles. If you don't clear them all in time, the boss will do a big AoE, at which point you will most likely wipe the raid. So here again, we're going to hide inside the tree for noise pollution, and then we're going to continue to flip the balls while DPS and heals are inside the circle. Healers, every time you see those waves go across the screen from a ball flip, just make sure to use heals to heal the whole raid. And that should just be pretty much it. Next up is going to be the tornadoes. And here is, again, the interrupt for the ball flipping. And that is the last ball in the cycle. Then we're going to go every other ball to avoid the phase where you get the yellow circles on the floor. If DPS is high enough, you will skip some of these phases in between the different percentages, but for adventure we usually get all of them. Now these tornadoes are moving towards the tree again, so make sure to take your turn to block one tornado and then move back into the center and avoid the other tornadoes. Again, you will end up dropping the health of the tree significantly if the tornado hits the tree, so it's really important not to have those hit the tree. Next, we're going to be doing the seed phase. Again, one person go to the center who has the green seed on them with the green text over their head. They will meet the ball flippers who will get the seed, go out to their appropriate numbers, at which point they will share the seed with those numbers. Everybody will move to the left and they will get the seed there. One person on number 1 will move to the tanks so that the tanks have the seeds as well. That way everyone has seeds. When you can see on the raid frame now with the seeds on their names, it's that kind of greenish. If you don't have a seed on you when he does the jump attack, you will die. So it's really important to share the seed with everyone and kill the ad in the center in order to continue. Now we're going to do the ball flipping again. Watch for noise pollution. Everyone in, here's the noise pollution. And then go ahead and continue to DPS. That is it for the major mechanics. You will have to continue to do the orb flipping after that last 20%. Those seeds again happen at 60 and 20%, so you have to share the seeds. Now we're just going to continue to flip the balls until the interrupt phase, which was right there, and in the background you could see that last ball flipped. And now we're going to do every other ball. We usually save kind of the balls towards the boss for the end, just in case the tanks actually get too close to the balls. They can sometimes flip the balls by accident. I haven't seen this before, but the ball flippers tell me it happens. So as a tank, I haven't noticed, but you never know. So we're going to go ahead and block these purple tornadoes and just continue to DPS the boss. Every other orb is flipped, so we should be good. And then that will bring us to the end of the raid. So I hope you found this helpful. You're watching VGO 40 and this is VGO Girl. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you to BossJohnson for recording this for me. Please check the description for his Twitch channel. And thank you to Drozes for helping out as well with the explanation of the ball flips for adventure mode.